What is up, everybody? You're very welcome along to this special Anfield Agenda live stream. I'm joined by a mate of mine, Teo, a Liverpool fan. Somebody who you're going to see actually filling in doing some 888 work. Somebody's got to do it, mate. You know what I mean? It's tough at the top. And
Yeah,
how are you?
yeah, not bad, mate. How are you?
I am tickety boo, as I like to say, Teo, mate. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and all is good with life. And thank God, mate, this transfer window's closed.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, all the rumours are done now for
It's
everyone.
the ITK lads can just fuck right off now at this point. Honestly, I've had enough of them, mate.
Yeah.
If I hear the name Bruno Fernandes again for the
Oh,
next 6 months.
Bruno Fernandes, Coutinho, Ericsson, all those names are just, and I don't think any of them are remotely true at any point. Is the worst thing. Do you know what I mean? I think people get a wind of what someone said, and it just becomes the biggest rumor going, and everyone gets all uppity about it. It's just crazy, isn't it? It's just
Yeah, transfer windows, man, they're a crazy, crazy time. And transfer deadline day today, even looking at some of the deals that went through right at the last minute. I'm not sure if you've seen, but Louise actually managed to get that move from
yeah.
Chelsea to Arsenal right at the last minute as well. And you see people going, loads of other clubs are strengthening. What is your take, mate, on the window as a whole? Because I'm not seeing our rivals really strengthening that much, if I'm being honest.
Um, no, I don't think our rivals. I think the other teams have strengthened. They've not. I don't think any of them are going to match us or City. Um, I don't really see anyone new breaking into the top six. But around us, I don't think anyone's strengthened that much. Really, I don't think so. So they've all spent whatever they've spent, not made the teams any stronger, and we've not spent any money. And I think our team's gonna get stronger because of the players we have injured. So I'm buzzing for the window.
There's definitely a lot to be said for continuity, and there's definitely a lot to be said for keeping the group of players together. I mean, I can't remember many other transfer windows, Taya, where we've gone into it and we haven't had to worry about losing like Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah,
Yeah,
Roberto Firmino, and stuff like that. And look, it'd be disingenuous of me to say that I didn't go into this window thinking maybe a backup fullback, maybe an addition to
yeah,
the front three, but we are where we are, and I think we're in a position of strength.
yeah, we are. And I mean, I had my sights on. It sounds crazy, but I thought maybe Mbappe or someone crazy. We just won the European Championships. You know what I mean? I thought maybe just try and sneak a massive one in there. It's not happened, but I can totally see why. And hopefully, well, I don't know if people have seen the 888 video I've predicted, and I personally do believe we will win the league. So hopefully, come January, we're not desperate for anyone, and we can just, if we need to, tweak a couple of things in the side.
Mate, I'm with you. I'm fully on board both of those trains that you were talking about there. I mean, we've been saying for a while on the channel, if something doesn't happen this summer, we've been saying hashtag Mbappe 2020 and maybe hashtag Jaden Sancho 2020. You never know.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
reason we haven't spent
exactly.
money this window.
Definitely. I think I saw I saw uh, I think it was a meme, or I think it was something you shared. I can't remember, but it said trust in Klopp because he's done this before at Dortmund. You know what I mean? Where the net spend wasn't very high and they toppled Bayern. Do you know what I mean? And Liverpool, basically, under like since I've been watching Liverpool since I'd say if I was born in '92, about 3 years old, '95 season, I've been supporting Liverpool. There's always been an improvement and then a dip, but with Klopp, it's just been going upwards. So just to any other fans out there who are complaining and aren't too sure, just the proof's in the pudding. He improves his team year in and year out. Just get behind it. Do you know what I mean? And when there's a problem, we will all know. And I'm I'm not saying we'd ever be like the Arsenal fans with the Jurgen out, but I think he's the type of manager that if he thought he wasn't doing the job, he would walk anyways. I don't think Jurgen Klopp would ever put us in a position that he thinks we're not ready for what we should be fighting for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a video, I spoke about this a couple of days ago, but there's a video, I don't know if you've seen it, of Jose Mourinho, and he's talking about keeping that Porto team together. And he was basically saying the Porto team that won the Europa League then was kept together and went on, won the Champions League. And he said when people said to him, well, who have they signed this window regarding Liverpool? He just came back to the fact, well, who have they lost? They're the champions of Europe. They haven't lost anybody. They've brought in a couple of good young players. We've strengthened for the future. And like you've said, mate, Klopp's not an idiot. Michael Edwards isn't an idiot. Whatever we think as fans, the information they have available at their fingertips is infinitely greater than anything we'll ever have. So they know what they're at.
Because like I could even, you'll laugh at this, but listen, when we got linked with Salah, I was going, of all the bloody players out there, we're going for this guy, and yeah, he's all right, but I'm not going to lie, I wasn't enthusiastic, but even Mane at the time, what was it we signed him for? 30 something odd million, and you'd seen some of the other transfers that have gone through, and you're like, go on, break the bank. I was thinking of players like Higuain, but in retrospect, what would he have done if he came to? He would have fitted in with the style of play, but I think people were too. You need to understand, football has become a money game due to like teams like City, but it is a sport. At the end of the day, there are tactical things people need to think about. So why splash the money if what you want isn't there? I've seen something like the other day that if we didn't sign Van Dijk, Klopp was not signing another centre back, and we saw he didn't get him in the summer, didn't sign anyone, and we got him in the January transfer window. So, do you know?
Where it gets annoying to me, mate, is I hear what you're saying and I'm fully on board with you. And we spoke earlier on about Messi saying hashtag Mbappe 2020 and stuff. But as you've said, Jurgen Klopp is stubborn. And I think it's easy for people to say, hang on, we didn't do much business in this window, and then automatically jump on the FSG out bandwagon and blame the owners and say that they're tying Jurgen Klopp's hands behind his back. You've just touched on it, mate, and we need to remember this. If Klopp doesn't get who he wants, he's very willing to sit back and wait for the player.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's a better approach out there, because we've seen, some of the signings we would have seen as Liverpool fans, and there's no disrespect to the players. I always have a soft spot even for some players that our fans won't like just because they are a Liverpool player. But without being rude to some of them, they should never have been given the opportunity to wear the shirt because of how big a club we are. Do you know what I mean? So why rush into players that aren't going to fit in? Do you know? I don't want another Kyrgios. I don't want another Paul Konchesky. I don't want another Divock.
They were dark days, pal.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
my mate sent me a picture earlier on of Christian Poulsen signing for Liverpool, and I just looked at it and went, oh my goodness. And people forget where we come from, like.
And the thing is, at the time, okay, they weren't marquee signings, but these signings were being passed off in a way that at the time, before we watched them play, we went, oh, right, not bad, because we got Andrea Vorin in, we got told proven Ukrainian player, yada, 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 30 years old, got him on the cheap. Joe Cole, we were still thinking he was going to be the Joe Cole from Chelsea, and it was a free transfer. Do you know what I mean? And it was all dressed up all rosy, like, till we see him hit the pitch, and it'll be the same now. Like, Klopp, do you know what? He probably doesn't even think Felipe Coutinho fits in anymore. We don't play
that's
exactly
a really
the same.
good point. I remember saying when he was here, mate, if he wasn't a Liverpool player, there's no way Jurgen Klopp's going out and signing him, because he's a world class footballer. I'm not going to say that, but for Klopp's system and what Klopp wants, he's almost a luxury. And I remember having conversations with so many Reds going, if you had to lose Firmino or Coutinho, which one would it be? And I don't remember a single one saying that they'd rather lose Coutinho or Firmino over Coutinho. Everybody was like, yeah, if we had to lose one, Coutinho. Because you can see how important Firmino is and that he is a Jurgen Klopp player.
Oh, yeah. I don't think... So if Firmino wasn't the type of striker he was, I guarantee none of us would have liked Coutinho, because he didn't work that hard. Some games, when he got put in the middle to help out in the middle, you could see him run a bit, but when we had him on the left, he wasn't tracking back as much, and that's because Firmino does a lot of the dirty work now. Whereas it's okay, Salah, you will see Salah come back now, he's got that responsibility of being almost the furthest one forward for us. And Firmino helps that happen because, I mean, most teams would have the central striker, do you know what I mean, further forward. But we play a different way where Salah comes in or he darts back out wide. So, but I think Firmino is so key. And I think it shows more when he doesn't play than any of the front three because Mane seems to kick it up a notch when Salah isn't playing. I don't know if you notice, he does kick it up a notch. He takes that responsibility. So I think an injury to Firmino, because a lot of people have been saying Van Dijk, yeah, that would be a massive loss. But I now think through him coming in and setting the level he set, those defensive frailties we had without him won't be as obvious if he weren't in the squad for a couple of weeks now, I think. For me, it would be Matip Gomez. It wouldn't be Lovren. But
just to push you on that, actually, I want to kind of push ahead to the Norwich game. And I did a podcast yesterday, and I asked the two people on the pod who partners Virgil van Dijk for you against Norwich. Is it Joe Matip or is it Joe Gomez? Who do you think deserves that nod?
Deserves Matip, but personal preference as a defender, definitely Gomez. I think
you've hit the nail. You've said exactly what everybody else has said as well, and I'm the same. When I see Matip come on against Manchester City, I thought there's something about him. He's in form at the minute. You could just see he was oozing confidence. But long term, I would say Joe Gomez definitely.
I think if there was one thing I could take from Gomez and give to Matip, it would be strength, and vice versa. Do you know what? Even a lot of midfielders, I think, would be blessed to have Matip's passing. Have you seen his passing? He's
quality.
It's quality on the ball, and I think if Gomez had a bit more of that about him, we'd be talking about him like the likes of Van Dijk and Hansen in that majestic defender type. But he's a bit more. I think he's a bit. It reminds me a bit of Sol Campbell. Gomez. It's just you think you've gone past him, and he's just there, and he just gets a foot in, and I don't know. He's a solid guy, and he can play left or right. But people talking about cover for Robbo. Do you know what I mean? You might not want to, but we have got James Milner, and we've got Joe Gomez who can play there. Do you know what I mean? So it's not all doom and gloom not signing anyone. And I've forgotten his name. That kid who played in pre-season as well.
Larouci,
do you know what I mean? If we had a game against, I don't know, a championship team in the FA Cup, I think that kid would be ready to play. Do you know what I mean? So this is another thing. There's so many of the youth players that we want to see play, but we also want to see all these signings. We can't have our cake and eat it. Do you know what I mean? These players have got to play somewhere.
It's difficult.
A lot of people whinging about why we're getting rid of Harry Wilson on loan, but at the end of the day, you also want a massive signing up front. So where's Harry Wilson going to play if this massive signing comes in? A lot of people don't wait up.
It's definitely difficult. You look at Kiana Hoover, you look at Sepp Berg, two young players that are at the club. We signed that young kid Harvey Elliott from Fulham, who looks like a real handful as well. Yeah. Then we take into account the fact that those guys are going to be playing the EFL Trophy this year as well, which will get them valuable experience against, as Alex Inglethorpe said, grown men, which is important here because it's not under 23 friendlies. What for you, mate, are your goals for the Reds this season going in? What are you expecting Liverpool to achieve? What's par for you, or what makes a decent season?
So
I know it's a bit of a loaded question. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's because we get greedy. You see, like if we ended a season and it was exactly the same as last season, who's actually really going to win? No one. 7-time European champions. Do you know what I mean? But personally, I don't know. It's not just what do I want. I genuinely believe we're going to win the league this year. And
I'm with you.
A lot of people might call me a fool. I don't care. I genuinely believe we're going to win the league this year. So that's an expectancy for me. I also believe a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy here, but I think we're going to do the league and European double this year. And I
Oh
think
mate, don't tease me. Come on, don't
no,
tease me with that.
no.
That would be
Honestly,
unbelievable.
there is. I've okay. There's been years where I've been that guilty Liverpool fan of saying this all year, but I never ever really believed it. Right? I'm sure you saw my Facebook post last year, but I kept saying I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I felt like if I said it, I'd jinx it. But I really didn't believe it. I didn't want to say it because I know I've got Man United, like family support Man United, family support City. Do you know what I mean? They're gonna rip the crap out of me if I say it. But I've come out, I've
The
said it.
chat comments here, by the way, are all saying, "You go for it, mate. Go for the double. We're with you." We're all dreaming, mate. Why not?
So yeah, I've put it out there. I've said it on a video for 888. So I'm out there nationwide saying it. I think we're gonna win the league.
I love it. I'm on board with that. As I said, no problem with that whatsoever. I have to say, I didn't care about the Community Shield, and I'm not saying that in bitterness. I've said that all the way up, but I do care about the Super Cup, and I do care about the World Club Championship because we've never won the World Club Championship. So it would be nice to get that sexy gold badge that Real Madrid currently have on their shirt. To be going around. But if you pick up one of those, so let's say we pick up the Super Cup next week against Chelsea, you go into the season then if you've picked up 3 points at Norwich, and that buzz and that bounces back, and I think fans will start believing again.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, we win that, but we're just a hunger. But you can see the hunger in the boys' eyes. These boys, after obviously last year was Madrid. See, I forget what year it was, where the final before that was, because I've always wanted to erase that from my memory. But the Carriers final.
Kiev, and then Basel before that for Europa.
Yeah. You could see a burning desire in the boys' eyes to we're going to get back here. And I mean, I keep seeing this picture of Lovren saying what he said after the Kiev final, saying, I can make a promise, we will fight hard to get back here. And we did it, do you know what I mean? These boys, that's another thing about this. I mean, I wasn't there for the great Liverpool sides. I mean, I was probably just after Souness, maybe, started watching football. So have you ever seen such a tight-knit group of Liverpool players? Because I don't think I ever have.
I think the phrase Jurgen Klopp used to describe them as mentality monsters, I think, was absolutely perfect. I think these guys have learned from that loss in Kiev, as you've said. They will remember what that felt like. They will remember leaving that pitch. They will remember how close they were, how dejected they were, what happened to Mohamed Salah. But I want to ask you an honest question, and if Expressions is watching, excuse me, mate, before I say this. But for me, once we did that 4-0 win against Barcelona at Anfield in the semi-final, and we knew we were facing Spurs, I'm not gonna lie, mate. I was just a matter of counting down to lifting the trophy, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, so basically, it's a weird one. So I believe Spurs are a better team than Ajax. Yeah, I don't think that's debatable. But I had this weird feeling where I was just like, I want Spurs. I want Spurs. I know we'll beat Spurs. I feel like we'll beat Ajax, but there's always that. Do you know what I mean? Because they were doing some things to some big teams, and if they did beat
fearlessness.
Spurs,
they had youth and fearlessness about them.
So if they knock Spurs out in the semis, they're not. I don't feel like they're going to turn up to the final and go, "We're scared of Liverpool." Think they're going to go for it. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, when it was Spurs, yeah, I thought that was it. I slept before that cup final. I don't never sleep before a Liverpool cup final, ever. I slept the night before. I knew I was going to wake up and we were going to be 6-time European champions at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm fully on you with that. Spurs, I just
It's tough because you don't want to be disrespectful to Spurs, who are a very good side with a very good manager that are in a very good place. But I don't know, it just felt like we knew what was going to happen. We knew that they would get there come hell or high water, and it was a terrible final, and we didn't play particularly well. And God bless Divock for settling all our nerves right at the end with that amazing strike. But it just you just knew we were going to win at that time, mate.
I think we could have had Juve, we could have had anyone. I think after what we did to Barca, yeah, I think that was it.
And looking ahead to this year, I mean, last year with the cup runs, people say we want more of a run in the domestic cups. We were a little bit unfortunate perhaps last season. Now we got Wolves and Chelsea, not the easiest
Yeah,
passageway through. So
yeah,
sometimes a handy draw could benefit us maybe in the domestic cups as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, that Chelsea game, unlucky to say the least. I mean,
Amazing goal by Hazard, the second goal, to be fair.
uh, it, it was what it was. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Wolves weren't. Do you know what? I feared Wolves all season. I don't know why. All three games, I went. This could be the one where we slip up, but just because they've got this thing for looking good against the big sides. So I was actually very happy with 6 points from the two games in the league because they were one of the teams I thought we dropped points to.
Before I let you go, mate, a couple of things I want to get your views on. Give me your top. Let's go top six, and you don't have to give them to me in order outside the top one or two, but we'll just pretend Liverpool are winners. We've got Liverpool, City, probably. What's your take from there on out?
I will give it to you in order. I'm going to go Liverpool, City, oh God, Chelsea, and then I'm going to go Spurs.
No United. I find United so hard to judge, I have to say.
No, I'll go Arsenal fifth. Do you know what? I think the blue dot next door with some of the signings might massive might to any of them listening get sixth place.
There's a massive fuck you to any of them listening from me, by the way. There's not a hope. You can forget about it. I think Wolves maybe, Leicester. I'm interested to see what happens with Leicester. Now, I know they lost Slabhead, but there's still some good young players there.
They're a decent side. I don't know how many other Liverpool fans feel about Brendan, but I don't know. Don't I don't think he's got what it takes to meet. I
I
don't know.
think it's
Just
Europe lets him down for me. He always lets himself down. I think the Liverpool job came too early in his career. I don't blame him for taking it. We'd
no,
have
I
all
don't.
taken it.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely too early for him. He definitely seems a lot more wiser now, but I think his biggest problem with when he became Liverpool manager, I think he was too arrogant. There was no way we should have conceded that many goals that year. He should have. He just thought, that's it, I've got the most attacking team. Because, come on, Suarez that year. I think you could have put him in any team that season and they would have been in the top two. Like, he was... How many games did he miss at the start? 6? Still finished top goal scorer. Was one off the record of equaling the record for goals scored in a season. That is ridiculous. I probably say that was a better season than what Salah did, breaking the record just because of how many games he missed. Do you know what I mean? And Rodgers had that, and he thought he could win the league with just that because he didn't sort it out at the back. I mean, I don't know if you remember the Cardiff game. We scored 6 but conceded 3.
I do.
That's not right. But so yeah, I think if he's as a manager, if he's grown and he's lost a bit of that arrogancy and knows he's got to change, then yeah. Because I mean, we've seen Klopp change. You saw how we was all about just hammering teams and blowing them away, but that's not sustainable. And it was beautiful to watch. Remember in the Champions League, yeah, that's the game to play. But in the league, the game's too long to. So now we have that period, certain times in the game. Do you know what I mean? It's not straight from the whistle. We're trying to hammer teams, and then we've got no legs left, like last 10, 15. Do you get where I'm coming from? So yeah, I think it's just adaptability is Rodgers' problem. So that's why I don't really see Leicester doing that well this year.
It's certainly setting up for a very interesting season, mate. And unfortunately, time is against us. But before you go, I want to let people know, I know you're back on Twitter. We've got your Twitter handle just underneath your profile picture. You can't see it at the minute, but it's at that guy, Teo B. Let people know what you're doing. You've got those 888 videos. I think you filmed 7 segments ago.
Filmed 7. Yeah, filmed 7. I'm just like up and coming in this sort of scene. So I am in the middle of making a YouTube page. So I'm going to start getting some videos up and running. Mine would be a bit more comical. We'll still be touching on obviously the football, but be a bit comical. And yeah, you'll see my face about on the show, obviously. And yeah.
Well, make sure you guys get over, give Teo a follow. As you can see, if you're on Twitter, it's at that guy Teo B. Mate, I want to get you on again soon. It's been real fun catching up. Always a pleasure to chat.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I'll speak to you soon. See all the viewers soon.
Do let us know when you get that channel up and running, so we can give it a plug for you and let people know that you're out and about. It's always a pleasure, mate.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. I'll catch you soon.
Ladies and gents, if you've enjoyed this stream, hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe as well. I'll be back very soon with the late night agenda. Thank you again to Teo for coming on, and up the motherfucking Reds.